the bumper cars. This is definitely my favorite flat ride. This is a real vibe right here. It really feels like a proper mosaic window, and through it you can see the bumper car ride. That's right, first time in my life I built supports. I mean, it's not really supports, but still, it is kind of supporting the track, so technically... Welcome to episode 6 of the Dream Park 2 series. Now, this is going to be an insane episode, because this might just be the biggest episode of the series so far. I'll get into why in a moment, because right here, I've built yet another building in the Arcane area during a live stream, and it's just supposed to be like a sort of sci-fi lab building. There's a whole bunch of the shimmer stuff in Arcane, which is just purple acid, basically, with a whole bunch of like the wedge pieces right here, just for a little bit of detail, and I'm really proud of how this building turned out. And I want to do this for all of the buildings in this area. Just like little details like this. Like look at the acid burning right there. The little crack in the glass and the acid dripping out. The broken railings. To really give this area a rundown vibe. Because these buildings are way too well put together. So I am just going to go over these buildings that we have built, trying to make them look a lot more rundown. And I also haven't decided on what we could call the bumper cars ride right here. So if you guys have a name that's sort of like, you know, an Arcane themed name that we could call this bumper cars ride, let me know down below in the comments. I'd appreciate that. While you're down there, please do subscribe. This is going to be an insane episode, and once we hit 40,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a 24-hour charity stream. Oh freaking yeah, I am so excited for it. It is going to be so fun. You don't want to be missing it. But what I want to actually do today is get the majority of all of these buildings done, because otherwise, if we just do a building per episode, we are going to be here for all eternity. It's going to take forever. But the building that I want to build first will actually be right here. This is an idea that I've had in the back of my mind since the start, and it is a train station. Can you believe it? No way I'm building the train station. Who would have thought? But we are going to be having a train station right here. I thought it would make perfect sense since it's right next to the entrance, and it can actually fit quite nicely in the Arcane area. But I'm sadly not going to be building the transport train. I was going to, but if we want to make it actually fit in the Arcane theme, then monorails are probably the best bet, because in Arcane you actually see these style of trains going around. So yeah, it's a shame, but I still think it's gonna look really cool. And what's gonna happen is that it is going to loop around the path. It's sort of gonna be like a road train, if you will. It's just gonna follow the path, so when you're walking around the park, you might run into the train. Well, not like it's not gonna run into you, it's just gonna like run by you if you don't walk in front of it. That I didn't pick it up. But that's enough yapping, because we have gotta build the actual exterior of this train station. And what I have in mind is this building from Arcane. You might recognize it. It's the same building that Jinx stands on at the end of season 1, episode 9. The very last scene when she shoots the massive rocket launcher is that same building. So I've got a lot of building to do. So why not let's just get started. I'll take you through everything when I've finished. Let's just hop into a quick time lapse. And around 3 hours later, this is the train station. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, this might just be my brand new favorite building in the area or in the entire park. I don't know. I really like how this turned out. So we've got some fancy window details with some like little cracks on the windows because I really wanted this to have like a proper abandoned feel. That's why I added the trees really early on, is because I knew that that would just hit, you know, you see that and you think abandoned. We've got some chimneys coming out of here. We've actually got some pipes going out into the building from, I don't know what these are, but they're there and they look nice. Some red accents to like the blue and white building. Really nice, or the teal and white. And we've got this sign right here, which I think I need to change the colors to just like a pure, maybe like a black and white, because I don't know how I feel about the colored. I just copied an image and turned it into primitives, and the inside is nothing pretty. I'm not gonna make this into an actual like attraction of like the bumper cars for queue, because I honestly think I'm gonna ruin it if I add a queue and exit. I really do. And also I would have to get rid of all these cool bushes which give it so much more detail and life, and honestly I'd much rather prioritize the exterior than the interior. And I've also added the monorail going through this building, and you can see here actually done just a very temporary track going all around the area. I really want the train to be sort of a hotspot to go on and to see parts of the park that you wouldn't usually see when you're on foot. What I want to do now though is build this building right here. It's not going to be anything special. It's just going to be a building with massive double doors or the monorail to go through. That's literally all it's going to be, and then that's really it. It's just going to be a big building with doors. There's nothing else to it. So you know what? I'm going to get cooking on that. You just saw a time lapse, so I'm just going to clap my hands like this and it's all should be done. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I've just finished all 4 buildings. Yep, that's right, 4. I think it's 4. No, but it's 3. I just counted them. Here are the 3 new buildings added to the area. We are actually making some really solid progress already. Almost finishing this side of the street. Let me take you through each building one by one. We just have like this little shed right here with some huge double doors with some vines all over. We've got like some ripped wallpaper. We've got some ropes hanging off of the roof. We've got like barrels and crates, some planks of wood, and like dried leaves on the ground. We also just have like pipes of shimmer everywhere, and I sort of want to have like these pipes just sort of going through everywhere, sort of like the city's powered by it, even though I'm not actually sure how the Arcane city's powered, but I think it's just a cool way to sort of show that it's the Arcane area. We've got like this little trap door, a nice chimney, and I think it looks really nice. And yeah, I've done these floor details all over the place, and I think I definitely want to do a lot more spreading out. I'm just not entirely sure what. But going up, we have this building that is actually on like just supports. I think I need to add like a little wall at the back because I don't like how you can see the grass. I sort of want to block that. But this building is literally just sitting on supports. It is sort of an orangey sort of shade of a building, which I think is really nice. And it's got a little overhang roof with these like metal fence poles holding up, which are covered in vines. All of the windows, by the way, are actually cracked. Well, like most of them are. I think this like cracked aesthetic looks really nice. I've done it over here as well. I've added vines on everything, by the way. When I say vines, I mean like a few green wedge pieces. And I think it just looks so nice. I'm so happy with this. But moving on, we've got this building, which is just a pretty basic building. I've still yet to do all of the details on this side of the wall, so we're just focusing on the front. I'm really happy with this. I didn't want to overdo it with windows, so I decided, you know what, I'll just add some more like wallpapering, texturing stuff going on, because I feel like we've got a lot of window action going on. I've got to add like a shovel here, some like pipes going up along the side. I really like doing this, but I've connected this like sci-fi lab to like this building with rope. I've connected the shed to the floor with rope, and this time I've connected this building to this like abandoned train station building with a clothing line, because I wanted to have some rope there, but I thought, you know what, this is actually a pretty good spot for a clothing line. So I just made some t-shirts, some pants or trousers, and I feel like it fills up this top half of sort of gap we have here really nicely. Once again, got some barrels around here. I really like this slit. I'm so happy with all of this. But this is how everything looks all together. What do you think? I'm really happy with it. But we ain't done. What we gotta do is this. You can see we've got a whole bunch of blue primitives right here along the side of the train station. And especially this one is just so ugly. So we gotta change that. And I actually have a really cool idea on how we can make this building different to the other ones, because all of these are actual like buildings, but I want these to sort of just be like facades. Like they're literally gonna be about this thick, because I really got to be careful with what's going to be right here. And I think they're just going to be like terrace flats. I think that could look cool. I have an idea for this wall in particular, which is I want to have it sort of like just a grey bland wall. But to give it a little bit of detail, I think it'll be really cool if we have the Jinx Vander mural from season 2. I think that'll be so cool to have it here as like a little Easter egg. So let's get started on that then. For this, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with this train logo right here, which is grab an image and copy it from that. So I've got to grab an image. I think like there should do. Put the mural in. Got that lovely. Yeah, I think that is going to look really cool. I just want it to be a little subtle thing. So let's get cracking on that, shall we? Okay, like 45 minutes later, and here is the mural. I am proper happy with this. There is a lot of Z fighting going on, but from afar you don't really notice that, so I'm not too bothered. The amount of pain and time it will take to get rid of it is just not worth it. Like, you can definitely tell what it is, and it's just a little Easter egg hidden in that alleyway right there. But it is just cut off at the bottom. I'm gonna fix that by making it like fade into the actual building in the back. But before that, I actually gotta build the building in the back. I'm gonna do that really quick, and when I say really quick, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Okay, I've just finished this alleyway right here, and I'm so happy of it. I gotta show you. This is what it's looking like now, and oh my days, am I so happy and so proud of this little tiny area of this park. I can't even. Let me take you through it. So first of all, this wall has changed a lot. It was literally just a bland wall, and I really wanted to do something with it, so I decided, you know what, I'll go live. And I added this really nice fire escape right here, which is falling apart, you know, want to keep with that like really abandoned sort of vibe. And then while I was building that, Danny, an insane builder in Theme Park Tycoon 2, offered to help, adding like this electrical box here, these like little details using speakers in the walls, like whatever this is, this insane looking pipe right here, these like gutterings along the roof, and especially this right here, which is what I'm calling texture blending, where you literally layer some textures on top of each other, and from afar especially, it looks really cool. It gives so much detail without it feeling like really overcrowded. And then I did that for all of these other buildings as well. You can see it on the shed and even this building. And I never knew this, but this mesh roof, you can actually scale it. When could you do that? So we used it to trim off the bottom of these buildings, and yeah, it looks really nice. So on this building though, I have actually finished the sort of block of flats that I wanted to build here. I wanted this to be like just houses on top of each other, and I didn't want to just build another copy and pasted house there, so I built just a block of flats. I know they don't really have them in Arcane, but I thought it would spice it up. It'll make it look a whole lot different and a whole lot nicer, and I think they do look a whole lot nice. I built like 3 sets of them, all of them having like cracked circular windows, hanging lights, and clothes on the railing. And if you zoom out, oh my days, is this coming together? I can't really express how much I'm loving building this and how much I'm so proud of this. Like, the doors were so bland, but adding a few vines and a few different types of textures on top of them really takes it to the next level. I've done so much building over there. I need a change of area. I spent what feels like days over there, and you know what? I think it's time to tackle this side of this whole street right here. We might as well while we're at it. I told you this was going to be insane episode. You guys are not locked in. What I want to do over here, I want to make it so that this is like a market stall. I had that idea since the start, but I want this to sort of be like a restaurant. I know it's really close to the entrance, but I feel like having it close to the entrance makes sense because this will sort of be like a hot spot. I have an idea for what I want to do here, by the way, and it's going to be sort of like a hotspot, I suppose, or a point of interest. I don't know. And what better restaurant could we do than Benzo's shop? Yeah, I know it's not a restaurant. If you don't know, Benzo's shop is sort of like, it sells a lot of rare materials, maybe like a pawn shop or something. I don't know. And you know what? I built a lot of these buildings, like, you know, off camera. I haven't really shown you the process of how I go from just a pure blue box like this to a properly fully detailed building. Unless if you've watched the live streams, of course. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of them. So you know what? Why not? Let's do it. So first of all, I usually have an idea in mind. Like I said, it's a market stall, so I'm just going to quickly go find some reference images. Okay, I've just found a few reference images. They're not the best, but they give me a good idea of the vibe and the colors and how everything looks. So the actual color looks to be sort of like this sort of red. Painted that in a nice plaster. Plaster's a really nice smooth texture. I would do the interior, but I don't want to, so yeah. I'll just build some like tables and chairs on the outside. And then there is like a trim around the bottom, and it's sort of like a gray. I'm just trying to get out the basic shape. That's like I'm happy with, so I'll see when I've got a nice shape I like. Okay, I think I can make this work. Obviously, a lot needs to go into it. So we've got this like nice little overhang. This is where the shop's gonna be. I don't know where I should push this wall back, or this like second floor wall. And then I know there's a sign that goes right here. And it sort of like hangs down. So I think there might need to be something else there. I don't know. There's like hardly any images of this freaking exterior. I suppose we'll just start the door then, shall we? The door is actually really tall. It's like proper tall. It's got like a little window, like a circular window bit. I do want to make it a little bit wider actually, to be fair, because there are some details right on the sides like this. There's like little windows on the sides. That does not look like a window at all. Let me try and maybe make some frames around it. I don't know. Really with the entire thing, it's just like a process of, does it look good? If it does, we'll keep it. We'll see how it goes. If it don't, just get rid of it and see if you can replace it with something else. Like usually windows have frames, so yeah, that makes sense. We're also going to put a nice old frame around this window in the middle. And on these windows, especially in this theme in Arcane, all of these windows usually have just some random like lines going through them, so I guess we'll just do that. It's just a whole bunch of like jagged lines. They don't really have any purpose apart from being there. Yeah, okay, don't ask me what this is. It's just a whole bunch of like jagged lines, really. I think it looks pretty cool. What I am going to do is literally just yoink this, which is the little blend-in technique that Danny came up with, which is really cool. Basically just layering a whole bunch of textures over each other. Let's just make this fit the door. And I'm actually, while we're on it, I might as well just copy this and do it for the whole wall. Okay, that looks a whole lot better now. I also added the mesh roofs right here, just to give it a little bit more of something. And now this like bottom trim looks just a bit too, I don't know, just straight for my liking, so I'm just gonna change it up with some wedge pieces. And now I've just got to detail this window up by just doing the same thing I did here. You know what I'm gonna do, just a whole bunch of lines. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit wonky because you can actually see I added a sphere here instead, just like a little bit of a sphere, to just give it a little bit more depth and make it look a lot less flat, because that's always good. I have noticed though that there are like these little, there's like little gold bronze sort of things, like sort of like latches. I don't know what they really are. I think they can look for some pretty nice details, so I'm gonna add them. Okay, so I added a few of these clamps on the ground, and also added this like, I don't know, electrical thing. I don't know what this is, but it was over on the alleyway. Another thing that was on the alleyway is like this little smoke thing. Looks pretty nice, and by using things that are also in different parts of different buildings throughout the same area, you can see that right there. It can make everything just feel that a little bit more cohesive and like they're part of the same town. I also added this like valve on this pipe right here, which I really like. But what I want to do is actually get this overhang done and finished. But this like overhang is basically just a whole bunch of scrap metal sort of like stapled together, really. So I'm gonna try my best to replicate that. It's gonna be a bit tricky, but I think we can give it a shot. Yeah, I mean, even that by itself looked pretty nice. I could probably go a step further by adding just like little beams under each one, perhaps. It's not bad. So what we can do now is literally just get the main bits of texture on. So let's just use some concrete. Most of them should be rock. And then let's have snow for a few of them, just like that. And then this is going to be a little bit darker for the little metal, I guess, girders these could be or something. Yeah, okay. And then on top of these, we could go a step further by adding even more, I suppose, sure, even more scrap metals. We could actually have some of them like corroded metal, I suppose. Okay, there's the scrap metal in, and from afar, it does look really cool. It gives it a nice little color of pop, or bit of color of pop, bit of pop. It gives it pop. It pops. Now I want to add like the little supports. There's like some fancy supports. I don't know. They're mainly just sort of an arch shape, but wibbly wobbly like this, if that makes any sense. Before that, I'm going to add some dried up bits of grass, because doing this can actually help make the building feel a lot more attached to the area it's in, if that makes sense. It brings it towards the area. I don't know if that makes any sense. What I'm basically saying is that you can see how this feels like it's just being plunked on. It doesn't really feel like it belongs there. But you can see here, just adding a whole bunch of stuff, even like this rope that connects the building to the ground, really helps it feel like it belongs. I don't know if that made any sense. Right, okay, let's get on to building these support beams then. Okay, those are the supports in. I really like how these look, actually. I just started off by making like a crooked pole, then added these like bolts in at the top, and then added in the arch, then I branched off in like these like weird shapes, I don't know. And yeah, I like it. And you can already see how, if you ignore the top half, how this is actually starting to come together pretty nicely now. And although it has taken like an hour, I think it looks nice. Now, I do want to hang some stuff off of this roof right here. And it's like really cool about Benzo's shop is that it has a lot of like hanging rocks and crystals. So I feel like that could be really cool instead of these all the time, just these hanging lights here. Don't get me wrong, I love how they look, but I feel like it's always nice to have a little bit of variety. So it looks like it's literally just strung on by some bits of rope. I will actually just, you know what, we have these two beams here. Why not let's connect them to these two beams? It's like 4 bits of rope just holding it up in the air. Now we just need to connect it to the bottom. And there we go. I think that looks pretty nice. Okay, now it's time to actually color it. So, okay, now I'm just going to copy and paste these, and it should look pretty nice. Oh yeah, I like this. It's just subtle, but it adds so much color, and they just look so nice. I really like them. I added just like a purple. We've got some blue, red. We've got green and yellow. Really nice, especially from far away. I'm happy with that. But what I have noticed is that it is really dark because of this overhang. So I'm trying to think of ways I can light it up. First thing that came to mind is a lamp, but I think, oh, we could have like a handheld lantern. Oh, we could have a hanging handheld lantern. Okay, actually, this lantern's looking pretty fire. So we should just be able to move it up here. Well, that's not too bad, actually. There is a lot of hanging stuff, though, so I don't know. But it does light this up pretty nicely. That's basically the first part of this floor done. All I gotta do is the second floor and the roof. And most importantly, the Benzo shop sign. And for the rest of the building, it's pretty much just the same step by step. You just get the basic shapes in, you color it, you see what details can look nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish all of that up, and by the snap of my fingers, it'll all be done. Hopefully it works this time. I don't know. I'm just gonna snap, snap, snap until it works. So when I turn around now, y'all are gonna see the finished building, the finished restaurant that we finished live on stream. I did another live stream, I couldn't help myself. So here it is, Benzo's shop. We have actually done quite a lot. This is Benzo's shop sign. I can't remember how long it took me, but I tried to recreate it as best as I possibly can. We've also got it on the other side as well. Danny built this like massive guttering on the side. We've just got some more windows and this huge like hole in the wall just to make it look bashed in. And of course you have some table and chairs outside, which really brings it together nicely. And yeah, I absolutely love this entire town that we built in just this one episode. I sort of went a little bit overkill for today, but I couldn't help myself. Let me know what building you thought was your favorite down below in the comments. But that's gonna be it for today's episode. A huge thank you to all my members on screen right now. If you want to become a member, the link to it is in the description down below. There's a ton of perks to becoming a member, like getting your names on the screen right here, and also getting episodes and videos early, little sneak peeks to future videos, all that good stuff. But make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, have a good one, guys. See ya.